Hey guys, this is Frozen Things Tius here, and welcome back to another video. And today, I think everyone knows what day it is today. Happy Halloween to you all. Yep, happy Halloween to my subscribers. So, yep, since today is Halloween, of course, I gotta do a Halloween related video. So, last year for Halloween, I did a top 10 favorite horror movies of all time list, and I did tease in some of my previous videos that I was going to make a redo version of the list, an updated version, but honestly, rethinking about it, I'm like, nah, maybe I don't fancy doing it anymore. But I do definitely would love to share with you my updated top 10 favorite horror movies of all time list. So, yeah, I'll send you here my list that I made on Letterboxd. So, yeah, here you go. Yep, here's my updated favorite horror movies list. So, yeah, you see it now, and yeah. So now in this list, I am going to be sharing with you my top 10 worst horror movies of all time. Yeah, despite I am a massive fan of horror movies, there is no denying that there are some god awful horror movies. And a lot of these movies that came out in a time when horror was actually my worst genre. It was just, in the recent years where horror movies started to get really good and made me appreciate horror. But these movies, they are not how to do horror, certainly not. So yeah, without further ado, if you want to know what my worst horror movies of all time are, then just keep watching. But first, let's start off with five dishonorable mentions. Movies that are still god awful, but didn't quite make the list because there are 10 films that are worse. And so my dishonorable mentions are Knock Knock, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Slender Man, The Meg, and The Nun. I actually wanted to put The Nun on the list, but I think there's just 10 films that noted that are undeniably worse. So yeah, let's get into it. At number 10, The Curse of La Llorona. I know people say The Nun is the worst movie in the Conjuring universe, and I get where they're coming from, but to me, in my personal opinion, there are two more Conjuring films that are worse, and meaning two Conjuring movies that you're going to see show up on this list. And The Curse of La Llorona is just one of them. I remember seeing this movie, seeing the trailer for this movie in front of Shazam, and I was like, what the actual hell is this? What the hell is this crap? I mean, I thought that this was just another generic horror movie that just relies on jump scares, but I actually didn't even I actually watched this movie without actually realizing that this is a part of the Conjuring universe. I eventually watched this. I eventually watched this movie. No, I mean, eventually later on, I found out that this is a part of the Conjuring universe, but that's kind of one reason as to why I think this movie is worse than The Nun, because at least The Nun, you can feel that is a part of the Conjuring universe. It is technically a prequel to the Conjuring movies that took place in the past, so you can definitely see why, despite it feeling kind of different. But The Curse of La Llorona, it just feels like a regular plain horror movie that slaps the name The Conjuring and thinks it's The Conjuring, but it barely has anything to do with The Conjuring. And the movie itself, it is so generic. It is just jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, and non-stop jump scare. Yep. This movie is just all jump scare and no story whatsoever. And yeah, and by the way, yeah, this is the worst horror movie of 2019, bar none. Yeah, the worst horror movie of its respective year. And 2019 had some really damn gems as well. I don't remember. I forgot which was my which was my favorite horror movie of 2019. I actually don't remember, but yeah. And hate on It Chapter 2 all you want, but you gotta admit that It Chapter 2 is a billion times better than this pile of poodoo. Yeah, I couldn't care less. And And yeah, and also the whole plot about disappearing children. Where have I where have I heard this story before in other horror movies? So yeah, Curse of La Llorona deserves to be on the list. Yeah. At number nine, the New Mutants. Yeah. This this is the worst comic book horror movie ever made. And I've heard some people say that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is the worst comic book horror movie. Well, BS on that bullshit. I call bullshit on that. The New Mutants is way worse than Doctor Strange 2, and also, and yeah, this is the worst X Men movie, my least favorite X Men movie. Oh my god, this movie is just trash. Yeah, like this movie makes Dark Phoenix and X Men Origins Wolverine look like a masterpiece in comparison. Yeah, I this movie is so boring. Literally nothing goes on. It's 94 minutes, of which is the shortest X Men movie, but it feels like it's taking forever to finish. It feels like the longest X Men movie. Well, yeah, X Men Apocalypse, which currently holds the record for the longest X Men movie, feels it feels like less than an hour in comparison to this pile of Podu. Yeah, here's Palo Pudu. Yeah, all these characters are absolutely boring. You just couldn't care less about them. And yeah, what the hell is Anya Taylor-Joy doing in this movie? Like, yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to feel about her. I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy, I love you, but this is not you. I mean, I can't believe what an asshole her character is. Yeah, she is just so mean spirited. Like she kind of feels like a villain. Like she's such a bully. Yeah, my god. I mean, at least I can get over Sei Sing's character in The Whale, despite her being one of the actresses that I'm passionate about. Probably and yeah, she's still my favorite actress, by the way. I mean, people complain about her Sei Sing's character in The Whale being a bully and the mean spirited character, but at least I can get through it, and at least she had a reason why. Anya Taylor-Joy's character in this movie, on the other hand, she's just like, there's a new member of our team. Okay, I'll just try to get her killed. Yeah, and then turns out she's just antisocial and she just talks to puppets. Yeah, wow. And the horror stuff in this movie is such a joke. I mean, why would you just delay this movie constantly just so you can tone down the horror? Yeah, if you don't know the history about this movie, basically, it was supposed to come out in 2018, and it was supposed to be a lot scarier. I mean, that teaser trailer really scared the crap out of me. But Fox apparently wanted a PG-13 wanted this to be PG-13, and apparently this movie got an R rating from the MPAA, so they had to redo a lot of things to tone this down. I mean, yeah, so this movie's delay is just beyond unnecessary. I mean, just keep it R. I mean, if Deadpool is R and Logan is R, why couldn't you make the balls? Why couldn't you have the balls to make a horror X-Men movie R rated? Yes, I don't know what Fox was thinking on making this decision. So yeah, and at first I thought that this was the worst horror movie of 2020, but but on reflection, there's actually one movie I think is worse, and yeah, 2020 movie I think deserves the title for the worst horror movie that year. At number 8, Fantasy Island, the true worst horror movie of 2020. Yeah. What the actual hell, Jeff Lalo? I defended Kick-Ass 2, which is another movie he directed, by Jeff Wadlow directed. Yeah, I defend Kick-Ass 2. I think Kick-Ass 2 is such a guilty pleasure. But I cannot defend Fantasy Island because, oh my god, this movie is so this movie is just like Like, what is this? I mean, this movie is incredibly boring, dull. It's not scary. It's rarely a horror movie. I mean, it thinks it's a horror movie, but I mean, what horror is there? I mean, this movie is not scary at all. It's nothing. This movie is just so exposition after just annoying exposition. I could not care less about it. And this movie is just incredibly predictable. It's incredibly predictable, but at the same time, it goes into different directions that quote unquote subvert your expectations. I mean subvert your expectations in some of the worst ways possible. But yeah, and this is probably some of the worst plot twists I've ever seen in a horror movie. I mean, like the plot twists were just so infuriating. I was like, what the actual hell? Like, for example, the main character in this movie, the main protagonist, Lucy Hale, turns out to be the villain this whole time. Is actually a twist villain. What the actual hell? That's like making Anna the twist villain of Frozen, or making Sam Carpenter the twist villain of Scream 5 or 6. And heck, it's like even making Sidney Prescott the Ghostface killer of Scream. I mean, of the first Scream movie. Just taking a yeah, yeah, pretty much making your main protagonist the twist villain of the movie. Like who, like what kind of mindset is that? Like what where the writers are thinking. I mean, Michael Pena was supposed to be the villain of this movie, but turns out it's the main girl who, like, what the hell? Yeah, this is actually why this is the worst horror movie of 2020, and most certainly in my top 5 worst movies of that year. But yeah, it is low in the list for a reason, because there are 7 films that I despise even more. Number 7, Resident Evil. Welcome to Who Gives a Crap City. Yep. Who asked for this Resident Evil movie? I mean, didn't we have an? I mean, I thought we had enough of these garbage live action Resident Evil movies. Literally, none of these movies are even good. None of the Paul W S Anderson Resident Evil movies are even good. So why bother with a new one? And wasn't it Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City is just as bad as I knew it would be. I mean, this was one of my least anticipated movies of 2021, and it sure as hell is one of the worst movies of that year. I mean, boy, I mean, where do I even get started with this? I mean, first of all, they got underrated actors in this movie. They got underrated actors in this movie, particularly, specifically, Kaya Scodelario and Hannah John Cameron. I mean, both of them are underrated, and they could have carried the movie. Well, I would say that they were the most tolerable parts in the movie, but they still felt like they only were in this movie just for a paycheck. And I heard that this movie was unfaithful to the games, because these characters don't look like most of the characters, especially the male characters, look nothing like the characters in the games. And so I'm most certainly not surprised by this. And the action scenes are just are bland. The gore is just a fake. It feels like it's only shoved in here just for the sake of being an R-rated film. And the CGI in this movie, blah, 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 yeah, what the hell is that? Yeah, this has probably the worst zombie design I have ever seen in a horror movie. It just looks so unfinished, and the final boss in this movie, what the hell is that? Like, who designed this? I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, movies like this are the reason, are a part of the reason as to why these visual effects artists deserve better. Like, this is the end product. I mean, imagine seeing this movie in theaters, and seeing these disgusting pieces of crap, piece of crap CGI in this. Like, oh god, yeah. So yeah, Welcome to Raccoon City. This movie can go. This movie can go to hell for all I know. At number six, oh boy, you're all gonna be shocked that it's not in my top five and not higher. Josh the Revenge. I mean, this movie wouldn't be complete without this abomination right here, because I know a lot of people say that this is their least favorite horror movie of all time, and I can totally see why. Yeah, yeah. I've literally put myself literally put myself through all the horrible Jaws sequels, and boy, are they all just garbage. Boy, are they all just absolute garbage. And yeah, I mean, the original Jaws movie is a masterpiece, and it certainly isn't a film that didn't need a sequel, because the boy, none of the sequels are good. They're all garbage. They're not even mediocre. They're just straight up bad. Like, they range from 1 out of 5 to half star out of 5, and Jaws the Revenge is certainly the worst of them all. Like, I mean, like, what the actual hell is this? Like, what the hell is this? I mean, what is there to say that isn't there to be said? I mean, it's like, there's no joy in this movie. The shark is just fake. The characters are a bunch of nobodies. It's mind-numbingly boring, and like, there's nothing in this movie, and the whole plot about the whole plot about the Caribbean and New England and all that stuff. Sorry. Yeah, who cares about those things? So yeah, I mean, I seriously don't know how. Yeah, I seriously don't know anyone who likes this movie, and yeah, this may be the most hated movie on this list, but there are 5 movies that I think that I despise even more than this. Let's get to them. At number 5, The Exorcist, The Unbeliever. Yeah, yeah, but that's what I should have called this movie in when I ranted on this movie in my quick horror movie reviews. The Exorcist, The Unbeliever. Yeah, I actually came up with the title just a while ago. Yeah, just a few hours ago. But yeah, The Exorcist, Unbeliever freaking sucks. Yeah, David Gordon Green goes screw yourself. Like, second strike in a row where you literally reveal your true nature as just a horrible director who does nothing but ruin legacy sequels. Like, why not just make an original horror movie instead of directing sequels that no one asked for? And yeah, The Exorcist Believer is just sucks so hard. Yeah, I can't believe people say Five Nights at Freddy's is worse than this. Yeah, I don't get me wrong. I don't defend Five Nights at Freddy's. That movie is a huge disappointment, but at least we can all agree. But at least it's better than this crap. Yeah. This is a movie that made me done with Exorcism. Yeah, because Exorcism has become just generic nowadays. These movies just do absolutely nothing new, nothing unique. It's just possession, all that stuff, and then you gotta show the cross to the possessed body, so that they can roam free. I mean, like this movie literally misunderstands what makes the original Exorcist so loved. Despite me personally, I think it's good but overrated. It's just not one of the best horror movies ever made. Far from it. But yeah, far from it. But at least that movie, you can understand the impact that it has. I mean, what impact is there to say about this movie? So yeah. I did say that this was in my top 5 worst horror movies, and it sure as hell is. I mean, putting this movie lower than 5 is being generous to it. That's technically. Yeah. At number 4, Annabelle 2014. Yeah. This is the movie I was referring to when I talked about The Curse of La Llorona and said that there is one horror movie I think is worse. It's this piece of crap right here. I mean, I originally thought that Annabelle Comes Home is the worst is the worst in the Conjuring universe. But at least the Annabelle Comes Home has some has some pretty solid performances, particularly from by McKenna Grace and by McKenna Grace and Madison Eastman, and kind of Vera Farmiga. And at least that movie included the original the original Conjuring characters. Yeah, this movie is just incredibly boring, and this is the movie that literally no one asked for. No one cares. I mean, what is there to say? I mean, thank God we had at least one good Annabelle movie, which is Annabelle Creation. But yeah, this movie right here, oh my God, what is there to say that, as it been said, everybody hates this movie, even though not many people agreed about this being the worst Conjuring movie. To me, it is the worst one. It's incredibly boring. It's generic, especially for the Conjuring universe. It's pretty much the first movie, the first film in the Conjuring universe that made that started to milk itself. I mean, well, thankfully, no one actually realized until later on. I mean, this was just some unnecessary cash grab spin-off that shouldn't have existed. It's incredibly boring. None of the characters are interesting in the slightest bit, and the design of Annabelle is extremely outdated. If you look at Annabelle's design in Annabelle Creation and compare it to this movie, yeah, it is extremely outdated. Couldn't care less, and yeah, it is extremely slow. I couldn't care less about it. Yeah, I just don't care. This is certainly the worst horror movie of 2014. At number three, Resident Evil, the final chapter. Yeah, the so-called final chapter to this horrendous franchise. That horrendous franchise. Yeah. W.S. Anderson is the worst horror director ever. I mean, this guy just doesn't. This guy that just doesn't give a crap about anything. Yeah, and the Resident Evil is certainly in my least favorite franchise list, in my top 5 worst franchises. Like, how the hell does this movie have the highest the highest rating on Rotten Tomatoes? I think this is the worst Resident Evil movie. Yes, give me Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City any day over this movie. I mean, holy crap, yeah. This is one of the worst finales to a movie I have ever seen. Period. I mean, wow, yeah, this is certainly my top 5, yeah. Yeah, this is the best conclusion you can come up with. I mean, just the ending twist. Don't get me started on that. Yeah, the ending, the whole reveal about the Umbrella Academy secrets. Just go screw yourself, movie. I was like, it was just so I don't know what else to say. And and if you think that is bad, what damaged this movie the most is the editing and shaky cam. Blah, blah, blah. My God, who edited this movie? Yes, I think this movie deserves the title for the worst editing in a movie and the worst shaky cam. Yeah, if you thought Michael Bay's Transformers movies has the worst shaky cam, you ain't seen nothing yet. Actually, I'm not sure if I would specifically call this the worst the worst editing in a movie, because Artemis Fowl exists, and that movie had some atrocious editing too. But yeah, this one just takes the cake. This one is just in the conversation for the worst edited movies. Just holy crap, the action scenes are some of the worst action scenes I've ever seen. Like, it literally just gave me this movie just gave me a headache after. And the scares in this movie. What scares? What? I mean, there were a few jump scares, but I mean, this feels like a jump scare that even these jump scares that feel like jump scares where even 5-year-olds or even 3-year-olds would tolerate. Yeah, I'd certainly recommend 3-year-olds to watch this one, and I'm sure they wouldn't get scared of this movie. So yeah, screw this movie. At number two, Meg 2, The Trash. Yep, still the worst horror movie of the year, and I already ranted on this movie, so I'll just keep it brief. I mean, yeah, as you can tell, the first movie didn't make it on my list and wasn't a dishonorable mention. Yeah, I don't like this franchise to begin with. I don't find it a guilty pleasure at all. But at least the first movie had a pretty solid amount of shark action scenes, and they can be goofy entertainment. Like they can be dumb fun despite well, being not for me personally. But Meg to the Trench, oh my god. The fact that this movie dissatisfied the fans of the first Meg movie, the fact that this movie disappointed the fans of the original and the fans of the original just goes to show how garbage this movie is. I mean, where is the Megalodon? This is called a Meg, but it just focuses on humans and this corporation BS. Yeah, I can't believe I saw this movie. I saw this garbage movie in theaters. I can't believe it. Yeah, screw you, Paramount, for releasing Mutant Mayhem late in my country. I could have saw that movie instead of suffering through this pile of garbage. And yeah, this movie just made me want to rage. The characters are all absolutely boring, worthless. There is nothing entertaining. The action scenes are not exciting. The shark design is so vague. The fact that there are human antagonists in this movie just defeats the purpose, and there's too many other creatures as well. Like, why don't we just get only the shark? Why do we need these creatures? Oh, so the movie can be bigger. Yeah, bigger my ass. Yeah, bigger my ass. Yeah. And oh my god, that the climax. So anticlimactic. Literally, one of the characters befriends the shark to send a message to go away. Like, they don't kill the shark, they just tell him to go away, and he just goes away. What the actual hell were you thinking? Like, why? This is probably the worst action movie I have ever seen. Yeah, the worst of all the action movies. And it is close to being the worst horror movie of all time. But there's just one movie that I need to talk about. And the number one worst horror movie of all time is Halloween Ends. Screw this piece of crap movie. Why? Yeah, I mean, I didn't think David Gordon Green was a bad director until I saw this movie. This disgraceful movie right here. I mean, David Gordon Green did a good job with Halloween 2018, and despite not being a fan of Halloween Kills, at least it wasn't a disaster. It was not the David Gordon Green's fault. That it was just the writing and the fact that Halloween Kills just relied too much on being a setup to this. Yeah, this is how you end the Conjuring. No, wait, no, sorry. This is how you end the Halloween franchise. Oh my god! By just showing us that you've run out of ideas. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind this movie getting a legacy sequel, especially when Halloween 2018 was actually good. But why did you just end it with Michael Myers burning in the fire? Burning in the fire, yeah, and then just the end. Why? I mean, Halloween Kills was just unnecessary. I mean, Michael Myers didn't need to survive the fire, and then and the movie is just nothing but a setup to this. And my goodness, this movie, it just shows that the directors had no idea what to do. Like, first of all, Michael Myers is barely in the movie. I mean, he only had 10 minutes of screen time. Heck, even 5 minutes of screen time, that's it. Most of the time, he's just hiding in the sewers, and anyone who comes in the sewer, which barely happens, Michael Myers will just kill. Yeah, he doesn't come out of the shadows until the third act. And what makes things worse is that Laurie Strode is overshadowed by a new character, no one gives a crap about that. Oh my god, Corey is the worst character in a horror movie ever. This is why I prefer Exorcist Believer over this movie, because at least Exorcist Believer doesn't have a Corey like character, a character like Corey. But this movie, yeah, this movie right here, yeah, I mean Corey just. Why does this movie focus so much on Corey? Who cares? And why make this movie a rom-com? I mean, most of the time this movie focuses on Corey's relationship with his girlfriend, and then suddenly everyone bullies Corey, which makes him want to murder his bully. So he teams up with Michael Myers to take them down, and he becomes a killer himself. Like, and not to mention, Corey's girlfriend that never even got to see Corey's true nature. She never got to find out what Corey was up to. So when Laurie Strode killed Corey's girlfriend, that thought that Corey's girlfriend thought that Corey how do I say this? Corey's girlfriend thought that Laurie Strode is the killer. Like Laurie Strode is a criminal, and confronted her, like without even learning the truth. Yeah. Why does this movie have to focus so much on him? And that opening scene when Corey, the quote-unquote babysitter, accidentally murders the kid that he babysits, couldn't care less about that. And also, why does Michael Myers need a partner? He doesn't need a partner. I mean, he should have killed Corey before Corey. Honestly, if I wrote the movie, I would have just let Michael Myers straight up kill Corey instead of letting Corey join him. And yeah, there's nothing good about this movie. The kills were terrible. Like, there's so few kills, and the ending is the definition of anticlimactic. I mean, Laurie Strode defeats Michael Myers far too easily, and we barely see any brutal kills. The only one we see is this tongue. Is Michael Myers cutting off a guy's tongue. That's it. And then and then when Michael Myers gets defeated so easily, he just gets crushed by a truck. Yeah, that's it. My God, yeah. I'm just speechless for how bad this movie is. And honestly, I'm gonna say this right now. Lila Crocodile is a better it's a better October 2023 movie than this. Yep, there I said it. Yeah, I take Lila Crocodile any day over this. Oh, by the way, there's fireworks if you can hear the background noise. I don't know why, but it's been going on since yesterday. But yeah, screw this piece of crap movie. It is the worst horror movie. If I were to place this in my worst movies of 2022, let's update it. I'd probably put this at number 4, right behind the Robert Zemeckis Pinocchio remake of Ice Age of Buck Wild and Hotel Transylvania Trash for Mania. But yeah, this definitely deserves the title for the number 1 worst horror movie of all time. Woo! Woo! That's better. Yep, that was fun tearing these movies apart. So also for my top 10 worst horror movies of all time list, what are your least favorite horror movies of all time? Or do you personally agree with my picks? Comment down below, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned for my top 10 most underrated Disney movies of all time list. Yep, this is the final Halloween video that I did, so my Disney content on my channel continues. So yeah, bye guys.